Good morning, Year 6, and welcome to this Friday's maths lesson, the last maths lesson of the week. I hope you're well and that your first week of remote learning has gone well. Now, we're going to start. I should say before we start that this is the only online maths lesson today. There's no white rose, just this YouTube lesson. And before we go any further, we'll do a little total recall because we haven't done much of that this week. So can you tell me the coordinates for A and for B? Pause now and write them down. Remember to put them in brackets. Okay, so just if you need another clue, remember that we go along the corridor and up or down the stairs. And also a reminder that we're looking for where the X is, not where the A and the B is. Okay, let's give you your answers. So for A, we went along the corridor to 6, and we went up the stairs to 6 and 2. And then for B, we went along the corridor and to 3 and down 4, so it's 3, minus 4. I hope you got that at home. So today we're looking at multiplying decimals by an integer, and an integer just means a whole number. So pause now and write the short date and the title, multiplying decimals by an integer, and underline it as neatly as possible, please, and then we'll carry on with our lesson. So our focus today is really going to be on reflectiveness and resilience. Reflectiveness because you're doing multiplication and you've all done that before. You know how to multiply a 2 or 3 or 4 digit number by a single digit. And some resilience because for many of you, this will be the first time you've multiplied decimals. Our key vocabulary: place value, decimal point, and decimal place. The most important one today is going to be the decimal place. So why do we need to understand decimals? Stop now and have a little think. Why do you think it's important to have decimals? There's lots of reasons. I'm going to show you just one now. Money. We all love money, don't we? Here's an example. What is 3 times £1.50? Now, many of you, I'm sure, can just do this straight away in your head, 3 times £1.50. But I'm just going to show you exactly what we mean by 3 times £1.50. Because 3 times £1.50 is the same as 3 times 1.50. So we want 3 lots of £1.50. And here we've got £1.50, add £1.50, add £1.50. So how many 50p's? We've got 3 50s here, but we can't have 3 50p's in the 50p column. So how many wholes, how many pounds does it take, or how many 50p's does it take to make £1? Of course, it's 1, 2. So if we take one of these pound coins and take it over to this side, and then we add our other 3 pound coins, 2, 3, 4, and of course we've made £1 from that. We've still got a 50p left. So £1.50 add £1.50 add £1.50 is £4.50, which is the same as 3 lots of £1.50. Did you get that? I'm sure you did. Let's have a look at it another way. So if it were a decimal, and we had 1.50, 1.50, 1.50, and we added them together, all of our zeros would make 0. All of our 5s, 5 add 5 add 5, would make 15. So we'd put 5 in the tens column, carry the 1, or exchange the 1, and then we'd have 3 1s, which makes 3, plus the 1 makes 4. You all know how to do that. It will be exactly the same if we were writing it this way, 3 times 1.50. I'm going to try with my amazing writing skills. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 5 is 15, so we put a 5 here. And we exchange the 1. Oh dear, it's stuck on there. Little rubber. I'll redo that, shall I? Five carry the 1. And then 3 times 1 is 3, plus the extra 1. We have 4. And then we've put our decimal point in. Now, this is interesting because some of you may have been taught in the past that for a decimal, the 3 should go over here because we're looking at 3 whole numbers. So actually, we're looking at 3 whole numbers multiplied by 0, 3 whole numbers multiplied by 5/10, 3 whole numbers multiplied by 1 whole number. So whether you have calculated it here or here, the important thing that we need to understand is where the decimal point is going to go in the answer. And I'm going to show you that now with the next few questions. Because money is just one way in which we use decimals, and you probably answered that, as I said, in your head, probably using mental maths. But problem solving becomes more complicated, so you need to know how to calculate fractions, and that's what we're doing now. Let's have a look at this one. 5.3 multiplied by 4. Okay, so based on what we said, we're going to set it up, but I've got some rules for you as to if we follow them, it makes calculations really easy. Step 1, I want you to estimate your answer. And by that, I want to estimate the whole numbers. 4 times 5 is what? That's right, 20. So our answer is going to be about 20 and a bit more. Okay, so if we come up with an answer that's 200 or 2000, we know we've gone wrong somewhere. Or if we came up with an answer that was 2 point something, we know it needs to be more than 20. So that's the first thing. Have an estimate. These things are worth not rushing. Step 2, I want you to actually ignore the decimal point this time. Okay, just ignore the 0.3 for now, not completely. I'm going to scroll down a bit. Step 3, carry out the calculation as if it were a normal regular multiplication. So 53 multiplied by 4. Step 4, I want you to count how many decimal places were in the question. So in this case, 5.3 and 4 whole numbers. So there's only 1 decimal point. There's only 1 decimal place. So our answer should only have 1 decimal place. Step 5, add that many decimal places to your answer. So let's have a go doing this. 5.3 times 4, I'm going to scroll down. First thing I'm going to do is estimate. It's going to be roughly 20 or a bit more than 20. Next, I'm going to ignore the decimal point and I'm going to say, let me do it in black for now. 53, and excuse my handwriting again, multiplied by, I'll scroll down, multiplied by 4. You can be doing this the same time as me. You'll probably beat me. And you'll be using a ruler, so you'll be doing it much more neatly than I can. So let's say, and now, step 3, carry out the calculation as a regular multiplication. 4 times 3 is, that's right, 12. 4 times 5 is 20, plus the 1, 21. Okay. So can you remember what we said my estimate of my answer was? We said it was going to be a bit more than 20. So at the moment, my answer is 212. That's because step 4 was count how many decimal places were in the question. Can you remember? It was 1. And step 5 is add that many decimal places to your answer. So I'm going to do it in red, and I'm going to count back 1 decimal place, put my decimal point in, and of course my answer is now 21.2, which is a little bit more than 20. Let's try it with the next one. You can do this now. This is what the bronze questions are going to be like this morning. 2.7 times 5. Can you remember the rules? Pause now to have a go at it, or I'll remind you of the rules. So, ignore the decimal. Have an estimate first. What's 2 times 5? Then I want you to ignore the decimal place and do 27 times 5. Then we're going to count how many decimal places there are and add that to your answer. Let's do the answers together. So I've estimated the answer is going to be a bit more than 10. I've taken the decimal point away and I've gone for 27 times 5. I did this in the normal way. 5 times 7 is 35. 5 times 2 is 10. I put the 1 down and I add the 3, so 13. So my answer is 113. Can you remember my estimate? It should be a bit more than 10. Well, this is 135. So I count the decimal places. There's 1. There's only 1 digit, look, to the right of the decimal point, in which case I count the decimal place, 1, put the decimal point in, and 13 is a bit more than 10. Okay, next one for you to do. Silvers, have a go at this. It's 2 decimal places. Just remember, follow the rules. Pause now to have a go. Okay, here's the answers. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to estimate 6 times 4, or 4 times 6, which is going to be about 24 and a bit more than 24. Next, I'm going to ignore the decimal point and do a normal calculation. 2 times 4 is 8, or rather 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 3 is 12. Exchange the 1 and I put the 2 in there. 4 times 6 is 24, add the 1, 25. At the moment, my answer is 2,528. I know that can't be right because I want my answer to be a bit more than 24 because I estimated it. I count how many decimal places there are. There are 2 decimal places in the question, so I count back 1, 2, and put 2 decimal places in my answer. 25.28 is a bit more than 24. I hope this is making sense to everyone. And finally, if you want to have a go, by the way, bronzes and silvers, if you want to ignore this question, go straight on to your questions. They're on a Word document with today's date on, bronze, silver, gold, and challenge. But if you'd like to have a go at the gold, we've got 3 decimal places. The only thing that changes is the very end of the question. So what's the first thing I'm going to do? In fact, pause now and have a go. And here comes the answer. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to estimate. 3 times 9 is 27, so it's going to be a bit more than 27, slightly higher than 27. So now I'm going to write the calculation and ignore the decimal point. Oh, I haven't ignored the decimal point. My mistake. Let's get rid of that decimal point and bring it back. I've calculated that 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 7 is 21. 3 times 9 is 27. Add the 2, gives me our 29. Now, 29,193, and I estimated the number should be a bit more than 27. So I'm going to count my decimal places. 1, 2, 3. Find my answer, count back 1, 2, 3, and put the decimal point in, 29.193. And that's how you do your gold questions. So that's your task for today. It's as easy as that. If you're confused, do one of 2 things. Either go back and watch some more of this video again to follow my instructions, or you can chat to me online. I'll be on the teacher support page all morning. Okay, enjoy your maths, and once that's finished and the lessons are done today, enjoy your weekend, Year 6. Bye-bye for now.